Anything to discuss? Just now, outside, somebody asked me about eating meat and all that. I asked her, why don't you come here and ask? She said, she's shy. Actually, a lot of people have the same questions, so don't have to be shy. So you can just ask anything. Pangsen or liberation of animals is not mentioned by the Buddha. The way nowadays people do, they go all out of their way to go to the market and buy all those things. Seems a bit unusual and also may not be really beneficial. Because you see, like Brickfield's temple or Mahavihara, many years ago, the chief monk used to, every time Vesak day comes, they will release a lot of birds. Then after many years, one of the devotees told him, said that he notices every time Vesak comes, they catch a lot of birds. So there's a lot of birds in stock at the pet shop. In other words, they know you're going to buy, so they catch all these birds. So after that, they decided not to release these birds, because it defeats the purpose. I've been practicing Mahayana for 9 years, and I've seen a lot of this liberation of animals. And several times I saw they release these birds which have been in the cage for so long, and they can't find their food. Either they are so weak from not exercising their wings that they can't fly. In which case, when you release them, they are eaten up by cats and dogs and all that. And I've also seen some, they managed to fly 10 feet, another one managed to fly 20 feet. The next day, the one 10 feet one fell to the ground. 2 days later, the one 20 feet up there also fell to the ground. Why? Because they didn't know how to look for food. They've been in the cage for so long, don't know how to look for food. They've been used to people feeding them. So when you release them, you are not doing them a favor. You are actually killing them. So also I've seen some, at one time they released a lot of tortoises. That time when I was in America, they released a lot of tortoises. But the place where they released, that river, was not suitable for the tortoises. A few weeks later, you can find many of the shells dead. So, on the other hand, if you happen to see somebody about to slaughter an animal, and then out of compassion, you tell him, I buy from you, don't slaughter the iguana or what. Then you buy and then you bring, you must bring it to a suitable place, Don't simply release it. 20 over years ago, I was in a Mahayana temple in Penang, and they brought a big python, asked the monk to release it. And the monk said, Siao, mana, how to release in Penang? So I asked him to bring to the Baling forest to release. It's true, how you expect the monk to release in Penang? Either eat somebody's dog or it might be killed by somebody. It's not his natural home. You must release it at the proper place. Nowadays, because the Mahayanis, they always say they want to practice the way of compassion and Bodhisattva path and all these things, so they like to do all these things. But you think carefully, you release these animals and all that. And then, the fact that they are born as animals, it means that the karma is no good already. Right? They have to suffer. But this, because people don't understand, the compassion must come together with wisdom. If your compassion doesn't come together with wisdom, you'll be doing things that were practiced by external sect ascetics during the Buddha's time. The Buddha mentioned some of this. The Buddha said some of these external sect ascetics, when they go and beg for their food, And somebody wants to give them food, and then they see a lot of flies around. Then they think in their head, if I take this food, the flies have no food to eat, so they refuse to eat, to take. Then he go off to another house. Then when he goes to another house, this woman about to give him food might be carrying a newly born baby. Then he think to himself, if I take the food, then this woman will have less food to eat, then she will have less milk to give the baby. Then he refused to take. And then he go to another house. If he goes to another house and somebody wants to give him food, he sees some dogs around. And he think, if I take this food, the dogs will have less food to eat. Then he refused to take. All this is compassion without wisdom. So, if you practice compassion, must be tempered with wisdom. So just now I didn't finish that these animals, because their karma is such that they are born in the animal world to suffer. So even if you don't release them, they suffer. And when they suffer, it's natural. They are using up their bad karma. Not that you are encouraging them to suffer, but it's their karma. So even if you help them and they haven't worked out their karma, they'll be born again and again to suffer. Understand? Just like you cannot go to hell and go and help the beings out of hell. They haven't paid for the evil they have done. If you help them out of hell, if they come into the human world, they might still do a lot of evil. They might kill you, they might not be grateful that you brought them out of hell. They might kill you first. It's because they have not changed their mindset that they are still in hell. Hell is there for a purpose, A lot of people never think, why is there hell? Hell is there for a purpose. Hell is actually made by our own mind. The whole world is made by our mind. When we do something wrong, our conscience makes us suffer. And we have to suffer. It's a law of karma vipaka. If you don't suffer, you don't xiao gyap. You don't get rid of your bad karma. Say again.
Our brain, every cell is confused, cannot sleep, right? The whole night I'm going there, right?
But you don't explain very well who is suffering and why is there suffering? Who made him suffer?
Gradually suffering, right? So when you let go also,
but it doesn't seem to have much to do with what we are talking about, liberation. Are you asking a question or what?
Just now, talk about suffering, right? And this suffering, our brain always negative and confused. So even though we are sleep also, right? Pressure and depression. So once you let go also with worry, family problem, children how with education, that is what we mean. Because suffering we observe also.
What is this attachment to family? That's why you have to suffer for it, no?
Since you have passed the topic of compassion, I think I have heard or read somewhere about compassion, previous life of Buddha where he was still going to suffer. What he did is actually when seeing a tiger having a baby, out of compassion, the Bodhisattva cut off his flesh and feed the tiger. And this for one case, one patient. And another patient is the one previous life, the Bodhisattva of Buddha himself, giving away his wife and children. His death actually is given in the early time.
That story with Santara Jataka and the other Jataka, where the Bodhisattva, it seems he saw this tiger so hungry, no milk to feed the cubs. So this Bodhisattva jumped from the top of the hill, committed suicide to feed the tiger. That is compassion without wisdom. And it contradicts the teaching of the Buddha. You must remember these Jatakas were actually folk tales. It seems these Jataka stories were already in existence before the Buddha was enlightened. It was just like grandmother stories that we tell children. And in those, at that time, these Jatakas, there was no mention of the Bodhisattva, no mention of the Buddha at all. Then after the Buddha was enlightened, and hundreds of years later, people used these stories for the Buddha and said that in the Buddha, in his past life, he was a Bodhisattva, was born as a human being or born as a deer and all these things, from where we get the Sankanchil stories. So all these are grandmother stories, and they cannot be real because they contradict the Dhamma. The Buddha says a good person's dana, offering, must not harm himself and must not harm others. Okay, so when he commits suicide, he jumps down. He's not only harming himself, killing himself, he's harming the whole family. If the whole family finds out that he committed suicide, they would, maybe some of them may even go mad. Too much attachment to him. Just like when I first came out to work, I had a friend, he just got married, and in his work he has to travel in his car. So he had a car accident and passed away. And the wife, just at that time pregnant, and was so overcome by suffering, the wife became mad. So you see, when you kill yourself, somebody is attached to you, the mother or father might go mad. So you cause suffering not only to yourself, to your family members. Even this Vesantara Jataka, where the Bodhisattva is supposed to have given away the wife, the two children to this heartless beggar. He knows the beggar is going to torture them, going to beat them and all that. Still now with tears in his eyes, he's supposed to have given it away. Why? Because he wants to cultivate the parami of giving. This is very selfish. Just because you want to become a Buddha, you make your wife and your children suffer. What kind of Buddha is this? Which this is not Posat law, this is Thosat law. So this makes no sense. The Buddha says, good man's offering must not harm yourself, must not harm others. So it just flies in the face of logic, flies in the face of the Dhamma. If you tell this to a person of another religion, he say your Buddhism is xiao. Asking the person to give up his life for the tiger. No logic.
Why not eating solid food after 1 p.m.? What is the question?
It is not no eating solid food. A lot of people misunderstand. The Buddha, because in the spiritual path, if we eat 3 meals a day, then you can become fat, and you can become sleepy a lot of the time, lazy. So being slim is good for spiritual practice, not too slim. So the Buddha allowed breakfast and lunch. But later when the Buddha went to a certain place, he saw that place was a poor place. And the monks, because they beg for their food, they get very poor food. Just at one time, many years ago, I was staying in Mukdahan, near to Laos. For 3 weeks I stayed there. the people were so poor, then we go on Bindabat, we come back with what? Frog, not the one in the paddy field, but real frog, toad with the rough skin, and then beetle, fried beetle to eat, and then a snail. When you bite the snail, crab. Not easy to bite. And then rat, snake, all these things. So eating every day is a torture. Luckily, we have to eat only 1 meal a day. 3 meals cannot tahan. I forgot the point already. What was the question? Okay, sorry. So this is one very good reason for 1 meal. So actually, we are allowed 2 meals, breakfast plus lunch as well as we eat in the morning. So the reason why the Buddha says we should eat after dawn is because before the Buddha made the rule, before it's light, the monks go on alms round. So in the darkness, there's one time a lady was standing beside the well, taking water. And this monk standing quietly beside her, not uttering a sound. When she turned around, she thought it was a ghost. She shouted in fear. Then after that, she realized it's a monk. She cursed him. Why are you standing here begging for your food? You don't have food, you better cut open your stomach. Don't have a stomach rather than you have to beg for your food and all these things. So when the Buddha heard this, I said, when it's dark, don't go around like a prowler. Only after the sun comes up. That means for us, after 7 a.m. And then we are only allowed to beg up to noon, the highest, when the sun is the highest, which is about 1 something in this country. So during that period we can eat. So we can eat basically breakfast plus lunch. And 2 meals is quite sufficient. And if a monk has to eat 3 meals a day, then he goes not only begging in the morning, he has to beg in the afternoon again. It's a burden on lay people. Lay people to give even once a day is quite a strain already. So the Buddha came to a place, he saw that the monks were not well fed. They were very thin and the veins standing out and all that, looking very unhealthy. So when he found out the reason, the Buddha decided a few things can be taken by a monk even at night. And these things are called medicinal allowances. And these medicinal allowances, there are basically 2 or 3 types. One is called the 5 medicines. 5 things. One is butter. This butter, in Thailand, they interpret also as cheese. Okay? And then ghee. Ghee is another one. And then various types of oil, fish oil, lard, bear oil, alligator oil, all this japor, give you, strengthen your body, it's a tonic. Then the 4th is all kinds of sugar, sweets and all that, molasses, everything. And the 5th is honey. Honey. So these are the 5 allowances. And then on top of that, the Buddha allowed what are called lifetime allowances, medicinal fruits. Medicinal fruits include like olives, kana, and then this even like this yukam, what do you call it, umbilica, yukam, and then even this amra, I think, amra, and then in Malaysia, I would consider like this buah pala, nutmeg, ku hong, gets rid of wind. So these all can chew. So these are considered medicinal fruits lah. You are allowed any time of the day or night lah. You can keep also lah. And then medicinal roots lah, like QnA, turmeric ginger, turmeric ginseng all the various types of medicinal roots lah. And then medicinal leaves also lah, like peppermint, poho, daun kadok, a few types, herbal, neem, all this lah. And then supplements like vitamins, all those can. So there are quite a number of things lah that are allowed at night lah, just to make you stronger but not make you fat.
What about the
yes, short hair is permitted up to, I don't know, I forgot, I have to check the Vinaya books, I think 1 or 2 inches. So, like certain monasteries, they shave once a month lah. Here we shave once in 2 weeks lah, just before the chanting of the Patimokkha lah.
They organize this tour to help. What is your opinion of this tour to help? Can we really go down the hall to see what's happening?
I don't know about this. Can you explain?
Last end, at Padang we have some ceremony to bring people to help.
What kind of ceremony?
We call a tour to help. It's organized by which group?
By who? Organized by who?
I don't know which group it is, but I know that they put up shapes and everything to bring people on a tour to help.
Is it by chanting or what?
I think so. Looks like it's very popular in Taiwan nowadays.
Or maybe because they believe in this medicine master Buddha, asking the medicine master Buddha to give health to everybody. Put amulet where? Oh.
And with some chanting, we put them to journey down here.
So do they actually see hell?
From the people that I met, they said that some they see waterfall like the waterfall. Oh, very nice. They see things but they cannot reach it, you know. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. But nothing scary lah.
Nowadays, there's a lot of these things. You have to be very careful because it is possible they use occult. You can use the occult. QnA. So you have to be very careful. I've heard of a few cases where this thing happened. Yeah. Oh. Want to contact the dead relatives during the ghost festival. This is not part of Buddhism. What is Buddhism is only in the Nikayas. If it's not in the Nikayas, it's not Buddhism. This is all the rituals and all that. So if you get interested in all these things, you are not practicing Buddhism. You are going off the track already. In the original Buddha's teachings, our relative have passed away, we cannot help them. But we can do a little for those in the ghost realm. And I believe because the ghosts are the only ones that come back. Your relative is born as a ghost, usually he's suffering and he comes back and he wants you to know and wants you to help. So some people, they hear footsteps. After their relative have passed away, they hear somebody walking at night but they can't see. Or the door is open and closed by itself. The window open and closed, or the light open and closed by itself. In which case, you can only help them in a little way. That is by giving them food. Either directly placing the food outside the house, outside the gate, or you do charity and transfer the merit to them. And the best is before you do the charity or the dana, you inform them. And if you want to inform, you better inform all your relatives in the ghost realm. Because according to the Buddha, we have many, many relatives in the ghost realm waiting for help. So only those, because they come back, we can help them. And also in a small way. You cannot bring them out of the ghost realm. Imagine, if you can chow tu, you can bring these beings out of the ghost realm or out of hell. Then the Buddha must be a stupid fellow. Why the Buddha didn't do it? The Buddha has all the psychic power that anybody can have. And if the Buddha is so compassionate and he didn't do this, you must scold him. But the fact is that the Buddha says nobody can help. Why? Because the whole world is just a dream. Because of our bad deeds, our mind makes us see we are having a nightmare. We are having a nightmare and we think we are in hell. Suppose a person is dreaming at night, he's having a nightmare. Can you help him? You cannot help him. He has to wake up. Isn't it? So in the same way, the Buddha's way of helping us is telling us to wake up. The Buddha is the awakened one. We are all dreaming. Samsara is a long dream, one dream after another. That's why the Buddha says consciousness is maker of this great show, Tuahi. Consciousness makes us see ourselves as the hero, as a human being, or the main star in the human realm, or in the Deva realm, or in the hell realm, and all that. Just as when you dream at night, who's the most important man in the dream? It's you, So in the same way, when we are in samsara, the most important person in samsara, we keep dreaming we are the most important person. Oh, you cannot think, cannot control your last thoughts. A lot of people think at the last moment, I'm going to chant Amitahut, then Amitahut will bring me to the pure land. No such thing. Why? Because when you are dying, after some time, your consciousness the 6 sense organs will stop one by one. Your eyes will stop seeing. Your nose will stop smelling. Your taste buds will stop working. And your touch will stop. And then your hearing will stop. The last to stop is the mind. But before the mind stops, you will reach a state where the breathing stops and the heart stops. When that happens, the doctor will say, this person, Si Liao, is dead. But that is clinical death. And clinical death is not real death. So a doctor pronounces the patient is dead, but he will still live another 1 or 2 hours. During this 1 or 2 hours, the mind will continue to work. That time, you have no control. You cannot think of Amitahut and all these things, because at that time, what you think of is your natural frequency, depending on your karma. If your heart is a good heart, always thinking of helping people, then you'll be thinking good thoughts. If you are a violent person, those thoughts you are thinking, you are violent thoughts. So those thoughts will bring you to rebirth according to your karma. The violent person will be reborn in the animal realm. The evil person will be reborn in hell. The good person will be born in heaven or the human world. So like several years ago, one Penang devotee told me the mother died of cancer. At the last moment when the doctor said that she is dead, her face was in pain because she died of cancer. The body was in great pain. So the whole face was in pain. But 1 hour later, she told me the mother's face changed to be so happy, so bright, so smiling. That shows her last thoughts during that 1 hour were good thoughts. She had a good heart. So the fact that you see her, the face so smiling and so happy, that means she's gone to a good place. So those thoughts, no control. We like to think we can control our thoughts. So the Mahayanis also say, Yam Amitahut. And then the Abhidhamma people will say, your last thought, you must think of good thoughts and all these things. But not what the Buddha says. Nowadays, what people are practicing, Buddhists are practicing, is so far from the Dhamma. So very far. Not the Dhamma at all, and they think it's the Dhamma. Not Buddhism at all. Come, got some doubts, you better ask. Wait a while and then...
white, blue or yellow. So it seems I was told that certain light, especially red, is very attached.
No such thing. What happens, usually you find people, if they are going for a bad rebirth, what they see is very frightening. I've heard of some people, their relative passing away, the eyes suddenly open so big because they see something so frightening. But in many cases, 1 or 2 days before they die, the other world will start surfacing already, and they will see. And sometimes they will start behaving as though they are in that other world. Like many years ago, one lady told me, the father, just a few days before he died, he walked all over the house like an animal on all fours. Then he go outside. He bring a lot of rubbish into the room. And they asked him, what are you doing? Where are you going? Then he says he's going back to the dog house. So probably reborn as a dog. And there was another lady in Telok Intan. When she died, just a few days before she died, she kept crying. They asked her why. She said, why? Who took away all my clothes? I have no clothes to wear. But everybody saw that she was fully clothed. That shows she's going to probably take birth in the ghost realm. No clothes to wear. So they asked me, this lady has been chanting Amitahut for 30 over years. How come? So I said, she only chant only. She never changed her heart. When we practice the Dhamma, we have to change our habit patterns. Keep our sila. Be generous, have a good heart. But a lot of people like this, when they think this Amitabha Buddha going to help them or Kuan Yin going to help them, then they cling on to that. And they don't want to practice on their own. But the Buddha's teaching is that nobody can help you. If you don't swim, you're going to sink. So you better help yourself. That's why the Buddha said, be a lamb unto yourself. Be a refuge unto yourself, with no other refuge. Take the Dhamma as your lamb. Take the Dhamma as your refuge, with no other refuge. Only the Buddha, the Dhamma can guide you. But with the Dhamma as your guide, you have to walk the path. You have to make all the effort. No other person can help you. If there's any other being that can help you, there'll be no beings in hell already. There'll be no beings in the ghost realm. There'll be no beings in the animal realm. So many Buddhas have come. So many Bodhisattvas have come. Why nobody doing their work? The Bodhisattvas must be sleeping.
one lady, angry lady, the teeth out long.
Yeah, that's one of our devotees told me, the auntie, 2 days before she died, long Dracula teeth came out. But after she died, then the teeth disappeared. That means she had already taken the form of that ghost, the fierce ghost, because her character was very fierce, always angry. The teeth disappeared. You only suffer, pay back your karma. And how many times you are reborn in the animal realm depends on your karma. For example, a person, he likes to shoot wild boar. He might be reborn as a wild boar many, many times to be shot. Don't worry, you will never be reborn as a black ant. Because as a human being, we have evolved to a high state. I don't believe as a human being you can reborn as a cockroach, or as a tick, or as an ant. The mental level is not the same. You can be reborn as a buffalo. If you are a goo cat, you act like an animal, you'll be born as an animal. But animals, although you see they are simple-minded, some of them are like dogs. They have a bit of a human nature, You have a dog. Sometimes when we play certain Dhamma CDs, it has some old Chinese music. Some memory will make him howl, Maybe he used to be a China playboy and reborn as a dog. Somebody has a heart attack and no, you won't know. Why do you want to know? Know yourself.
They go to the market and then you buy or whatever, and then you go back and take all the delivery. So how do you protect yourself from this? How does it happen and how do you protect yourself from this?
This thing happens because nowadays a lot of people, they dabble with the occult. I speak in English first. This thing happens because nowadays a lot of people use occult, use spirits. So when you look at that person, you are hypnotized. And then this lady, even one of our devotees, she met this lady like that. And then after being hypnotized, she went back to her house, took out all the jewelry and gave it to that woman. And then the woman gave her something, asked her, don't open until you go home. Then when she went home, she opened, she found, tomato or something like that. So today, our mind is not strong, you get controlled by this spirit. So you have to make your mind strong. Don't think so much. Women think a lot, that's why their mind is not strong. When you have nothing to do, you must chant Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. Keep chanting so that your mind is concentrated. Women usually get into these problems because women minds very scattered. Women worry too much, that's why they think so much.
Just now, you need to talk about so much about control, but to control. So how do we balance? I mean, if they are controlling so much inside us, how do we express it out so that we have better mental health?
Matter what?
So that we keep down, we
Actually, all that control is for monks, not for you.
Yeah, but still we need to control our anger, we need to control our words, our actions. And then if we do too much of controlling, how do we fight for our rights then? How do we fight for our rights then? Like there is a word that I think I read, if somebody wants to take away from us, we give. So when I was discussing that with my kids, my children, and they say, don't get the people become the robbers, we give it to the people. You know, this kind of things, how do we practice our rights? There's so much of control.
This one, you have to listen to the Dhamma more, and then you will get the guidance there. The Buddha says the spiritual path goes one way, the worldly path goes the other way. So it's difficult to combine the two. So you have to use your wisdom. You want to walk the middle path. And unless your foundation on the Dhamma is very good, you won't be able to know what to do. So you have to listen more to the Dhamma talks. Shall we end here?